I wasn't supposed to be in that room. Men like me don't get invited into glass towers that scrape the sky and smell like imported leather and money. I was there because my daughter's daycare closed early, and I had no one to call. Single dads don't have backup plans. We are the backup plan. I had her little pink backpack slung over my shoulder while I stood at the reception desk of one of the most powerful buildings in the city. The receptionist looked at me like I had walked in with mud on a white carpet. "Delivery entrance is around the back," she said. I swallowed the insult. "I'm not delivering anything. I'm here for the facilities repair interview." She blinked, surprised. I had grease on my hands from fixing pipes that morning, and my shirt was wrinkled because my daughter spilled juice on it before we left. I didn't look like the other candidates who walked past me in tailored suits. I looked tired. I was tired. But tired doesn't mean defeated. The billionaire's assistant came down personally. That should have been my first warning that something strange was happening. "Mr. Kareem?" she asked. I nodded. She looked at my daughter, then back at me. "Bring her." I hesitated. "I can wait outside with her." She shook her head. "She asked to see you exactly as you are." Those words stayed with me. Her office was larger than my entire apartment. Floor-to-ceiling windows, marble floors, silence that felt expensive. And there she was, Zara Alvi, the youngest billionaire in the country. Media called her ruthless. Investors called her brilliant. Employees called her terrifying. She didn't stand up when I entered. She simply studied me. Not my clothes. Not the grease. Me. "You brought your daughter to an interview," she said calmly. "I didn't have a choice," I replied. "There's always a choice. Not when you're the only parent left." That made her pause. My daughter squeezed my hand tighter. Zara noticed. Something flickered in her expression. Something almost human. Then she said the sentence that would flip my life upside down. "I need a boyfriend for 1 week." I blinked. Surely I misheard. "For business reasons," she continued. "My investors are merging with a conservative family conglomerate. They don't trust unattached women. I need stability, a believable partner, public appearances, dinners, press events. 1 week. You will be compensated enough to change your life." I almost laughed. "You want me?" "Yes." "Why?" "Because you walked in here with your child instead of canceling. Because you look like a man who doesn't pretend. And because I need someone real." Real. That word hit harder than the paycheck she mentioned. "I'm a maintenance worker," I said carefully. "You're a single father who didn't abandon his responsibilities," she corrected. "That's rarer." I should have said no. Men like me don't play pretend with billionaires. We fix their broken pipes and leave quietly. But then I thought of rent, of overdue bills, of my daughter asking why we couldn't go to the zoo like other families. "What's the catch?" I asked. She leaned back. "No emotional attachment. No crossing lines. Strictly professional. You play the part. You disappear after." Disappear. I nodded slowly. 1 week. She stood up then, walked toward my daughter, and knelt down. "What's your name?" "Aya," my daughter whispered. Zara smiled gently. "Can I borrow your dad for a few dinners this week?" Aya looked at me. "Will he still make pancakes?" That question nearly broke me. "Yes," Zara answered before I could. "He'll still make pancakes." And just like that, I signed a contract that had more zeros than I'd ever seen in my life. The transformation began immediately. Tailored suits, grooming team, etiquette training. I felt like an imposter wrapped in designer fabric. Zara coached me on names of board members, family histories, industry politics. She was sharp, dangerously sharp. But behind closed doors, when the cameras were off, she was quiet. Observant. At the first gala, Flashbulbs exploded like fireworks. Headlines the next morning read, "Billionaire beauty finally off the market." Investors smiled wider. Stocks ticked upward. We were selling an illusion, but illusions have cracks. On the third night, during a private dinner with the conservative conglomerate patriarch, he asked me directly, "What do you love most about Zara?" It wasn't in the script. Zara's eyes warned me not to improvise. But I saw something else behind them, fear. So I said the truth. She doesn't quit. Even when she's alone. The room went silent. The old man studied her, then nodded slowly. That answer closed the deal. Later, in the car, she looked at me differently. "You weren't supposed to say that." It wasn't a lie. She turned toward the window. "You don't know me." "Maybe not," I said. "But I know what it looks like to carry everything by yourself." That night she asked about my late wife. I told her. And for the first time, the billionaire stopped acting like one. By day 5, the headlines were calling us powerful, magnetic, unexpected. By day 6, my daughter asked why Miss Zara looked sad in pictures. By day 7, I realized the contract was almost over, and something had shifted. Not romance, something deeper, respect, understanding. And when the final press conference ended and the investors signed everything they needed, Zara called me into her office again. "It's done," she said. I nodded. "You'll receive the payment by tomorrow." I swallowed. "Thank you." She looked at me longer than necessary. "You were supposed to disappear quietly." "I know. But you didn't." "I kept my promise." 1 week. She stepped closer. "And if I asked for more than a week?" My heart betrayed me for half a second. But then I remembered Aya. Pancakes. Stability. "I don't want to be a performance," I said softly. "And I won't let my daughter be part of one." Her composure cracked then, just slightly. "You think I only see you as a contract? I think you don't know how to let things be real." Silence filled the office again. I walked out believing that was the end. I was wrong, because the next morning, every news outlet in the country exploded with a headline none of us expected. And it wasn't about the merger. It was about me. The headline was everywhere before I even poured the morning coffee. "Maintenance worker manipulates billionaire CEO for money. Secret past exposed." My hands froze around the mug. There was my photo, not in a suit, not at a gala, but an old picture from years ago. Grease-stained shirt. Tired eyes. The caption twisted my story into something ugly. Opportunist. Gold digger. Strategic single father. My daughter was sitting at the small kitchen table, swinging her legs. "Daddy, why is your phone making so many noises?" Because the world had decided to tear me apart. I opened one article. Anonymous sources claimed I targeted Zara intentionally, that I researched her, that bringing my daughter to the interview was staged sympathy, that I was trying to secure a lifetime payout. It was absurd. But scandal doesn't need truth. It only needs attention. Then my phone rang. "Zara." I hesitated before answering. "Did you see it?" she asked immediately. "Yes." Silence. Her voice was controlled, but I could hear the tension underneath. "This isn't random." "No," I said calmly. "It's strategic." The merger had gone through. Contracts signed. Public confidence secured. And now, someone wanted her unstable again. "You need to release a statement," she said. "Distance yourself. Say you didn't know about the allegations." Allegations. Funny word for lies. "And say what?" I asked quietly. "That I fooled you? That you misrepresented yourself?" I felt something heavy settle in my chest. "So I'm disposable now? That's not what this is." "Then what is it?" She didn't answer immediately, because she knew. Damage control. Her board would be pressuring her. Investors would panic if the fairy tale boyfriend turned into a liability. I can handle this, I said finally. You don't understand how vicious this world is. I almost laughed. I understand more than you think. I've been underestimated my whole life. There was another silence, but this one felt different. Then she said something unexpected. I didn't release it. I know. And I won't throw you under the bus. That surprised me. Then who? I asked. Someone who loses if I look stable. And suddenly it made sense. Her rival. The only executive who voted against the merger. This wasn't about me. It was about control. By afternoon, reporters were outside my apartment building. Outside my building, where my daughter played on the cracked sidewalk. That's when something inside me shifted. You can attack my name, but not my child. I picked up Aya from school early. Cameras flashed. Microphones shoved toward us. Sir, did you manipulate MS? Alvi, was your daughter part of the act? That question nearly broke my restraint. I knelt down to Aya's level, blocking her from view. Close your eyes, princess, I whispered. Then I stood up. And for the first time in my life, I faced cameras not as a worker, not as a fake boyfriend, but as a father. You want a statement? I said steadily. Here it is. I'm a single dad. I work 2 jobs. I said yes to a contract because it meant security for my daughter. There was no manipulation. No trap. Just 2 adults making an agreement. If you want a villain, look somewhere else. But don't you dare drag my child into your headlines. It wasn't polished. It wasn't rehearsed. But it was real. And real spreads faster than lies. By evening, the narrative began to shift. Clips of my speech went viral. Single parents flooded social media defending me. Hashtags began trending. Hashtag let him parent. Hashtag respect single dads. Hashtag Zara and the truth. But the most unexpected response came at 9:47 p.m. Zara went live. No PR team. No script. Just her. I chose him, she said clearly to millions watching. Not because he's perfect. Not because he's wealthy. But because he's real. And in a world full of calculated alliances, I needed someone who didn't treat me like a transaction. My heart pounded. She continued, if you're looking for manipulation, look at the corporate boardrooms trying to control women's choices. Not at a father protecting his daughter. That live stream broke the internet. Her rival's stock plummeted the next morning. Internal investigations began. The smear campaign traced back exactly where we expected. But the damage had already done something irreversible. It had stripped away the performance. There were no more scripted dinners. No more staged hand-holding. Just truth exposed under pressure. The next time I saw her wasn't at a gala. It was at my apartment. No cameras. No assistants. She stood awkwardly in the hallway, holding a small pink box. For Aya, she said softly. It's a telescope. She said she likes the stars. My chest tightened. She talks too much, I murmured. I like that about her. She stepped inside, looked around the small space, not judging, just observing. This is your world, she said. Yes. And you're proud of it. Yes. She nodded slowly. I don't know how to live like this. You don't have to. But I don't want to live like before either. There it was. Not a business proposal. Not a contract. Fear. Vulnerability. I meant what I said. I told her. I won't be a performance. What if I don't want one anymore? My heart betrayed me again. But this time I didn't silence it immediately. Then we start without cameras, I said. Without headlines. Without pretending. And if it fails? Then at least it was real. She looked at Aya sitting on the floor with the telescope. Then back at me. I've built empires, she whispered. But I don't know how to build this. You don't build it, I said. You show up. Weeks passed. No public appearances together. No announcements. Just quiet dinners. Park visits. Board meetings she still dominated fiercely. And me still fixing broken pipes during the day. The difference? We weren't hiding. But we weren't performing either. One evening, as I flipped pancakes, Aya asked the question that sealed everything. Is Miss Zara staying forever? Zara froze. I looked at her. She didn't look like a billionaire in that moment. She looked like a woman afraid of being temporary. I don't know about forever, she said gently. But I'd like to stay as long as you'll have me. I grinned. That's a yes. And just like that, the most powerful woman in the country negotiated the only deal that truly mattered with a 6-year-old. Months later, when reporters asked about our relationship again, Zara simply said,